Alright, in this video we're going to go back to the late 80s, if you will. This was around the time when both Lakewood and Lasco were kind of transitioning away from the traditional full cabinet box fans, like the ones you see back there. But anyway, what we have here is two-speed box fans. Kind of the last of them, if you ask me. Um, both Lakewood and Lasco kind of offered their own versions of two-speed box fans. Um, it feels like the Lasco ones are more common normally. Um, well, around the late 80s, though, they became a little bit less common. I believe actually Galaxy offered this fan as a two-speed all the way up until at least the early 90s. In Lakewood, on the other hand, they had their version, as you can see here. Yeah. Um, I'm not sure about these, honestly. I don't know if these are like some kind of special order thing or what, because you don't see very many of them. And even the second gen ones are pretty rare. Um, so I wonder if these are there's some kind of catalog order thing that you would get some kind of catalog and you'd order it from Lakewood themselves or something. I'm not completely sure on all that. I'm not sure if even this store, what store would have sold them, but it's hard to say. I got this fan from my high school when I was in high school. It came out of the art room. I actually saved it from pretty much being scrapped. When I got it, it was seized up solid. It was pretty beat up. And yeah, I cleaned it up, gave it some new grills, oiled the motor, and she's been running ever since. And that was, I want to say, over 10 years ago at this point. Because when I got this, I was like, I think in 8th or ninth grade. Yeah, it's been a long time, and I've had it ever since. Now, the Sears, I got at Fanimation. Um, this fan in particular seems to be pretty rare. I've only seen a handful of them. I've seen more of these than I have of those. But either one's pretty rare. This one is branded as a Sears. I have seen them branded under Galaxy, but the Sears brand ones are more common. It has the same butter knife blade that Lasco is pretty well known for. And this one is a 2-speed, as you can see, high and low. And it does not have a handle, but it has a handle. It's a little rough, but I mean, so is this one. They kind of make a nice contrast to each other. Lakewood, it's a third gen. One of the later third gens with the 6-screw cabinet. What I call the 223. Some people call it a P223, whatever. I call this one the Lakewood 222 because it's a small cabinet 2-speed. As you can see, off, high, and low. It does have a model sticker on the bottom, which is kind of odd. That even detonates it as a P222. It says it draws 2.7 amps, but this is a smaller shaft Macmillan motor, so it probably draws a lot less than that. Don't mind that. The fan I took the grills off for this fan was, I mean, it wasn't in horrible shape, but I don't know what happened here. This has a dusty motor. 1.7 by the looks of it. Yeah, 1.7. Now this one is about, I think, an 88 model. There should be a code on the motor somewhere. Probably on the bottom of it, and I don't feel like looking at the moment. But yeah, this one has the smaller shaft McMillan motor. Pretty common motor. They came out with these around, I want to say 88, late 87. The earlier small cabinet ones had the big shaft motor still, and some of them had Samsung motors. So I think at this point Lakewood was just using whatever they had, and until they came out with this motor, because some had Samsung motors and some had the big shaft McMillan motors. Now I believe the big shaft McMillan motor was only a Lakewood thing, and the Samsung was only for Kmart. The Samsung motor was kind of, Lakewood was having a shortage of motors, and they used the Samsung motors, and Kmart was the only one that actually, because Kmart was kind of their main supplier of box fans at the time. They were the main supplier for fans, so they needed fans, and so Lakewood just threw Samsung motors in them and sent them on out. I mean, that's my theory behind it. That's from what I understand, from what everybody's told me. So yeah, sometime in 88, this motor came out and replaced the Samsung motor in the big shaft McMillan motor. That's how I've figured it out. Now the Sears is made by Lasco, like we already mentioned. This one, honestly, it's kind of the last of a dying breed. This is kind of the last of the 3714, if you will. This one has the plastic Marco motor, although some people say it's not a Marco motor. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Hard to say. But anyway, it's a plastic motor. It has some kind of cool startup sounds. I've actually been using this fan quite a bit here lately. I kind of like it. I figured I'd pull this one out because I haven't used it in a long time, and I figured we could do a comparison here. Now I will say one thing here. I believe Lasco over here was building a better air mover compared to Lakewood at the time. But this one here is kind of an exception because this thing is actually kind of powerful. I don't know if it's just because it's a 2-speed motor or what, but it seems to blow really good air. But anyway, we'll start them up on low. Here's the Sears and the Lakewood. The Sears has a better low speed, in my opinion. I don't know, they both seem pretty even with each other, honestly. The Lakewood's much quieter. Thing runs pretty quiet, and this one's not quiet, but I like the sound of it. I'll go up the high. Now on high they're pretty much even with each other here. Definitely feel a lot of air moving around. Granted, there's two fans running right next to each other, so obviously. But I'd say the RPMs are pretty close to each other here. And we'll go to off. But yeah, honestly, kind of two oddball box fans. You don't see many of them. Either one, honestly. Two-speed fans from this time frame are really rare. And I happen to find two examples. These two are definitely staying in the collection. Pretty close coast down, too. I think the Sears is going to stop sooner. No, the Lakewood did. Well, there you have it. Two-speed box fans from the late 80s. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.